All right, so that's the message for the National Sports Commission and the Table Tennis Federation. Let us get these guys adequately prepared and hope that they can make the right kind of impact at the Olympic Games. Talking about making impact at the Olympic Games, Bambo is on the show tonight, and Bambo has put out a little discourse because in a couple of days, the social media week, you are going to be involved with the social media week, and essentially you'll be talking about how we can reproduce champions and how we can use all social media platforms to drive the message and bring it to reality.
Exactly. I mean, you know as well as anybody that we've been doing this for the last 2 years, covering Team Nigeria internationally and creating great content that Nigerians can really latch onto. So now when you watch the Olympics or the World Championships, you can hear and see the stories of the Nigerians as well. So we'll be featuring that at a Social Media Week event next week, Thursday, to really just show Nigerians that from a media perspective, we need to really shine a light on athletics to make sure that people know what's really going on in the sport.
And the question tonight that we wanted to talk about and interact with us on is to ask this question about the chances of Nigeria winning medals. We're not even particular about the kind of medals now, are we?
No.
Can we win medals at the Olympic Games? In athletics, that is. We're not talking about the football team. We're not talking about the table tennis team. We're talking about athletics. Can we win medals at the Olympic Games in Rio? Bambo, before I allow you to say anything, let's go to someone that has been there, has won an Olympic medal for Nigeria, and when she speaks, all of us should pay attention. Let's welcome Mary Onyali Omagboemi to Sports Tonight. She's joining us from Abuja via telephone. And let me tell her, first of all, that Bambo Akane is here on the show so that she can be aware of the fact that the guy making champions is also with us. Mary Onyali, thank you so much for joining us on Sports Tonight. But the question we want to ask is, I mean, look at it. At the time, you were very dominant and you were always sure of winning Olympic medals for Nigeria. Look at that time and look at now. The quality that we had at that time and the quality that we have now, the preparation that we had at that time and what we have now. Can you be so confident that we will win medals? We are not even talking about what type of medals now, any kind of medal at the forthcoming Olympic Games.
Well, good evening, everyone, to begin with. In comparison, I wouldn't say my era was the best because every era comes with a different set of athletes and different motivational factors. When I was running, I didn't have money in front of me. I never placed a value on how much I was going to get or was going to win. The passion, the love for the sport was what was driving myself and the rest of my colleagues. But right now, most of our athletes have lost focus. I thought it was a slight loss, but it seems like every year the focus is getting wider and wider. I wish that we can go back to the way we used to do it. Athletes were discovered at an early age, primary, secondary school, all the way to university. We had programs at all levels, from grassroots to elite. That's why even when I went to the U.S., the likes of myself, Falila Tobukoya, whenever we come home and we're considered, quote-unquote, U.S.-based, challenging the home base, at that time, the Chiomas, the charity operas, they were considered home-based. They gave us a run for our money because they had qualified, extremely qualified and experienced coaches in Nigeria, drilling them, while we were as well doing the same in our university. So when we come home, the gap between the so-called US-based athletes, like myself, and the home-based athletes was not that much. But now the gap is like night and day. Because right here, the system has crashed back home, and we're now relying on our US or overseas-based athletes, and even the overseas-based athletes are not properly taken care of. What do I mean by that? Their welfare. They have fees, bills to pay while they train. We used to have some sort of welfare package at the time, even as I was a student. My last semester at school was paid for through the National Trust Fund. So right now, these athletes don't have anywhere to get help. They have bills over there. They pay their coaches, they pay the facility they train at, everything. Food they eat, because athletes can't eat any food off the street. Our welfare the welfare of our athletes must be paramount. Once we miss it, we've missed it all. Because if you take care of that athlete inside and out, she will climb to Mount Everest for you and back.
Mary, Bambo wants to ask a few questions now, but before he does that, let me just take you back to the last Olympic Games. The last Olympic Games is one that we would like to forget in a hurry. We went, we saw, and came back with absolutely nothing. Are you seeing a repeat of that, or do you think some miracles can happen somewhere that will just help us? Okay, maybe the football. Usually football will always, give us the magic. What are you seeing with these Olympics that is fast approaching?
I'm afraid I have to be blunt. It looks like what happened in 2012 may happen again if we don't act now. Nigerians are very, very resilient and talented. 3 months to the Olympics may be short for a lot of advanced, countries, but for a Nigerian, with the amount of talent and capacity we have, natural, we can still make it work. But we need to start now. An Olympic athlete needs between 6 to 8 years to prepare. Medals don't come overnight. The medals that we won during our time was won because we had 8 years plan. Most of the athletes were based in the U.S. and being trained by the school facilities for free. We were all on scholarship. It's very, very expensive. Athletics or sports is highly expensive. If you don't spend money and time on it, you will miss the ball. You'll be